Every morning I go out on a hike about anywhere between 4 to 6 miles. So every morning I get my minimum of 10,000 steps in, and during the hike I'll also stop off and do some training and kind of get the body moving every single day. I find that when you get moving first thing in the morning, like I just woke up and then I just got out there. I just jumped out of bed, got ready real quick, had an apple, drank a glass of water, and I'm already out here. So it only took me about maybe 10 minutes to leave the house. And I find that when you're very active in the beginning of the day, what happens is that you become more productive all throughout the rest of your day. Savanna. It's one of the last natural savannas in the Chicagoland area. This is actually one of my favorite places, my local places to hike. It's really close to me, but this is one of my favorite places right here. You hear the woodpeckers, you could hear the hawks, you hear the blue jays. Such an awesome place because this close to Chicago, there's just nothing else. There's nothing left like this. This is really one of the last remaining places that is this natural. You know, they really just left it alone. There used to be all kinds of savannas and stuff all through the area, but I was talking to one of the park rangers that manages this land, and he manages a few others, and he said that this is like one of 3 of the last true savannas in the Chicagoland area. So it's pretty sad. At least I get to enjoy it for now. Getting a little bit of rain today, on and off, which is always a blessing when I'm out here doing some training. It's because it makes the terrain so much more difficult. It's very soggy and muddy, so it gets very slippery in places. We've got brand new fallen debris from the weight of the ice on the trees from all winter. And that's why I'm a big advocate of get outside in nature, get in the elements and train. Whether you're training solo or you're going out there with a training partner or a couple buddies or whatever it is, get outside of the man-made dojos, get out of them, get outside in Mother Nature, because the training is so much more difficult. You know, when it comes to a real situation where you possibly have multiple opponents, you have to be able to deal with things like, you know, your footwork might slide a little bit. So you have to be able to recover these things, especially with multiple opponents. And if weapons are involved, you can't stand still. I mean, you're gonna be swarmed on like a swarm of bees, and you're not gonna be able to get out of there, and you're gonna easily be defeated, because you have to be able to zone out and isolate each opponent, so that way you can take on one opponent at a time. But if you're not training in this type of terrain, you're not getting those types of unpredictable moments when you might slide, when your foot might sink into the in the mud and you get stuck, right? There's all kinds of different things that can happen, and you have to be able to deal with those natural, unpredictable events, especially when you're moving around and you have a real knife in your hand, or you do have a firearm or something. Maybe you do have to move out of the way, and it's not your favorable terrain. So one of the things with Kali Center, our standard is that any opponent in any terrain under any conditions. So even in the winter, I'm out here training on the ice, which is worse than what I was just training on. When you have everybody that's been hiking on this stuff, so it's all packed down and icy, and it freezes and thaws and refreezes, and you just get these conditions that the vast majority of people simply just don't want to train in, but that's most likely what they're going to have to defend their lives in. So when you have all these unpredictabilities that happen just from nature, just from being out in the elements, it adds a little bit of that stress factor into your solo training. You know, you don't get that when you're in a man-made atmosphere. You don't get the slips, you don't get the slides, you don't get the suction from the mud. You know, you don't get the same burning sensation like you do when you're training on the beach and you're training in the sand, or you're training in ankle deep or knee deep water. Get out of the gym, get outside. You know, you're gonna stress the body a lot more, and it's gonna be a little bit more real feeling, because you are in a real environment where, you know, something could potentially take place. You know, the chances of you having to protect yourself, like really defend your life or your loved ones in your martial arts dojo, is extremely unlikely. But it's definitely more likely when you're just out and about in the regular world. So sometimes, like what I do with the staff guys, when we're training, when we're traveling and all that, we'll even train like in the elevator at the hotel, or in the stairway at the hotel, in the hotel room. Like, we'll try to train and operate in all these different types of environments. My least favorite place to train is actually at the school. You know the answer to this question, tell me in the comments below. Why did Chicago get the nickname the Windy City? Let's see who knows that. Right around here, I saw a great horned owl just fly right out of there. She must have been bothered by my presence, because normally this time, you know, they're kind of burrowed in and they're just kind of hanging out, but she must have not liked my presence. But what's really cool about them is they're so massive, but they're so silent. Like, they can just soar right through all of this without making a sound. Like, if you don't see it, you won't even know that it was there. So the other day, I was live on Instagram and people were asking me if I like going on long walks. Yes. Well, one, you gotta define what a long walk is. Like, by the time I'm done with this one, I will have walked around 6 miles. This is about an average walk, so I'm guaranteed to hit that 10 to 12,000 steps. It's a little bit after 10 a.m. right now, and I've got about 40 minutes to an hour back till I'm done. And I love going for these walks because, one, I get to train. Right? I always got my gear with me, and you never know when I want to film a video, especially like a YouTube video or anything like that. But I also like being out here because it exercises your senses. It exercises your awareness. You can't just rely on your eyes out here. You gotta feel. You gotta feel the ground, feel the wind, the different smells, what you hear. Your intuition gets fired up. So for people that are into doing like awareness training, get out in the elements, get outside, go for long hikes. People that want to enhance their athleticism and enhance coordination and all that, you know, go hike on some more challenging, more difficult terrain. It's going to challenge your balance, and it's going to force you to develop better coordination with your step. All right, you're also sometimes going to have to plan out your stepping, like where you're gonna go, how you're gonna navigate the terrain. So you have to negotiate your navigation. So much training happens, so much athleticism, so much awareness development happens just by going on long hikes. Take a whole morning out or a whole afternoon and just get out there, or take a whole weekend and just get out there, get away from the city life, go out into the wilderness for, you know, bring a backpack, bring supplies, and go on a 3-day hike, you know, and camp outside and do all those things. It's such good training, and it's great exercise. Like, your body, like, this is a fantastic leg workout. Walking through the mud, getting sucked in, sliding. So I've got all the stabilizing muscles that are just firing nonstop. All of my large muscle groups are firing, so that way I can propel, especially when you sink in the mud and you gotta get out. It's such a good leg workout. I mean, you'll feel in just a couple of weeks how strong your body gets, and not only strength, but stamina with that strength. That you can start going longer distances. You can start doing more complicated terrain. And then when you go into your dojo and you're training, you'll be like, man, this is nothing. Like running around on mats, it's so easy. I mean, it's not even a workout. Yeah, get out there, go for some long hikes. And if you're just starting out, you know, maybe 2-3 miles, you know, that might be a good place to start. Work your way up to 6 miles, 10 miles, 12 miles, and so on. Work your way up to hiking for multiple days. You're gonna burn a lot of calories, and you're gonna get stronger and build endurance at the same time. And you get to enjoy it all. Exercise your awareness, all your senses, including your intuition, and develop the athleticism, and you get to see stuff. Like today, I saw a great horned owl. How cool is that? Oh, my feet are soaked. Soaked to the bone. Got mud all over me. Such a good hike. It's nice out. It's almost 60 degrees. It might be 60 degrees now. Had some wind, had some rain, got some sun, dirty, got some training in. Drove the Elantra, so it's okay that I'm dirty. Good hike, good morning. I'm ready for some lunch. So I get asked about my diet sometimes, and this is what my typical lunch looks like. Just lots of veggies and some fruit. So what's exactly in my lunch today? I've got a few different greens. I've got some turnips. I've got mustard greens, which are crazy good for you. I love turnips and mustard greens. I've got some green onion in here. I've got bell pepper, mushrooms. I add a little bit of turmeric, and then I'll have my raspberries. And then I'm super excited because I just got this new juicer, so I'm gonna juice up a little bit of orange juice so I can give that thing a try. All right, let's try out the juice, see how it is. Freshly squeezed. All right, it is time for me to go sit down and enjoy my lunch. So I will see you next time.